I'm going to show a neat little painting trick today. It's something that I call a cutout. It's sort of like doing a reverse cutout on a painting. So if you think about doing a cutout, it would be almost like if you wanted the shape of a heart on your painting might be inside a heart shape, and everywhere else it might be white or have a plain background. But this way, I want to have my heart shape in the middle of the painting, and that will be plain, one solid color. And then I want my painting part to be around it. So it's actually the part that's around the cutout is what's going to be colored and painted. So I'm going to show how I do that. I have a little trick for that. And I haven't done a painting like this in a little while, so I thought I'd try to do one today. For something like this, you can do any sort of cutout shape you want, but I'm going to do a heart. And in the end, I might decide to put a word in there. I haven't decided yet fully, but I have my little canvas board here just painted gold. So it's a shimmery gold paint. And let you see how it shines like that. And I think I did a couple of coats on here. Usually the metallic paints are a little bit sheer the first time, so you do want to do a couple of coats on there just to make sure whatever color you had in the background isn't showing. If you did it on white, that's pretty good. A couple of coats will be fine, but if you did this to cover over something, you definitely want to do a few coats. And I have a piece here. This is just waxy parchment paper. It's not wax paper. You can use wax paper for what I'm about to do, but it is a little hard to peel and separate your sticky transfer shape onto your canvas. So we're going to use parchment paper because the tape peels off a lot easier. So I just cut a small piece of it. Usually parchment paper is on a really long roll, so you don't want to use the whole sheet and waste it. Just cut the other piece off, and then you have a piece that you can use later for something else. You use this for baking. So, you know, if you're doing a craft project with it, one roll will last you forever. So I'm just going to take some painter's tape and create a small shape on here, just a sort of a square, rectangle shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I just want it to be something that is wide enough to cover that whole heart. I'm just going to stick that on there. And I overlap them. Not too much, but just enough. I don't want them to just meet. I want to overlap them just a bit like that. They don't have to be perfectly straight either. It's just how I like to do things. All right, so now it feels like this is about as tall as it needs to be and about as wide as it needs to be to fit this heart. Let's just make sure the heart fits on there, and that's pretty good. If it was a little bit short somewhere, or let's say your heart was showing a little bit of white there where it didn't have any tape, you could just put a piece of tape right there, and that would be fine. I can even do that just to show. Doesn't matter how you do your tape. You can do it any way you like. Just make sure it's stuck down really well, and wherever they're creasing and overlapping, just run your finger along there and press hard to make sure that all the pieces are stuck on there really well. So then you put your heart or whatever shape you're doing in the middle. It doesn't have to be a cookie cutter. I just like that these are sturdy, and so it doesn't bow or move around when I go to set it on the paper. But you can always just freehand something. You want a simple shape, I don't know, circle, triangle, something that you want to be the focal point of this painting. And I'm going to Sharpie around because I'm using the dark painter's tape, so I'm just going to Sharpie around to make sure I get the shape on there. All right, and then just cut your shape out. It's stuck on the paper now, so it's not going anywhere. And cut your shape out. It's not going to stick to your scissors either because, you know, the sticky side is down on the paper. Cut it neatly because this edge is going to show on your painting. So however you cut, if you cut a jagged edge, that's going to show. This is where, if you were doing wax paper, you'd have a hard time peeling this off, but you're going to peel it like a sticker, and parchment paper peels off a whole lot easier than the wax paper. Now this is pretty much trash unless you can find a use for it. I'm just going to get rid of it. If you put enough tape though, and you had enough of an outline, you might be able to make a ring of a heart, which would be kind of cool if you could cut the outline of it and make just an outline of a heart shape, but I don't have enough here because my end came up a little bit short there, but that's fine, it's trash. Then you peel your paper off the back. You might need to fold it a little bit to get it to peel, but your wax paper is pretty waxy, so it should come up pretty easy. It helps to have fingernails. And just carefully peel that off because you don't want to separate your tape pieces. This paper part is trash too, so if that rips, that's fine. Just gently peel it up. You're going to stick this down in the middle or wherever you want it to be on your canvas. So I kind of want mine to be right in the middle, so try to center it pretty good. Maybe move over just a bit. So the way I'm envisioning this painting is there's going to be a heart in the middle that is this metallic gold color. And then I want like a burst of colors coming around it. And so I'll be filling that in around this. It's okay though if I get paint on it because this is stuck down, and as long as I press hard around the edges, no paint will be able to slip underneath my sticker here. And then I think when it's all done, I'll just take either some dimensional gold paint or maybe some gold glitter glue, and just once I peel the heart up, I might put a little edge, a rim of some gold around it just to make this jump out a little more, and then maybe put a word in the middle. So I'll get my colors and kind of see what comes to me when I start painting on this background. Kind of roughly painted. I left it a little streaky so it gave it that look of a burst sort of coming from the center where the heart is. You could do this with the sun. This would be a really cool painting where the sun's in the middle and then different shades of orange, red, or yellow are coming out of it like a big burst or something else that might have that same sort of effect. Now I'm going to pull off the sticker in the middle. This is still a little wet. You can tell that because it's still shiny, but that's all right. We can go ahead and carefully pull off our sticker. Remember, it could come off in pieces if you don't pull it from the right direction, because you want to sort of watch how you're pulling those little pieces, because we taped it in segments. All right, and just be careful not to touch the heart shape underneath that we're revealing, because that part we don't want to have any paint on there, just the gold. So I can hold it down, and if we did it well enough, and if we kept our paint away from the edges, we will have no paint showing around where it could have slipped underneath. If we didn't stick it down well enough, it might have done that. And you also saw that as I was going around, I was avoiding brushing this way from the outside of the canvas into the center, because I didn't want to slip any paint underneath the sticker. So imagine the sticker is stuck down, and if you're brushing this way, those little bristles can sometimes slip right underneath. But this way it kept it clean, so I mostly pulled from here outward. And anytime that you saw me pulling from the edge toward the middle, I was careful not to touch the edge. I would just pull it on and drag the brush slightly, but not to the edge of this. But then we're deciding if we're going to leave it like it is or use my two choices here. I had the gold puffy paint. I really like this one. It's dimensional and it just has a slight shine. It's kind of like the background though. It's very similar to what the heart was here in the middle. So I don't know if I'd want to use this or something more like this just to really make it pop. So I'm wondering if maybe something like the glitter glue would be kind of neat. If your canvas was totally dry, you could always use this and then shake some glitter on it so the glitter would stick in this. But since we still have some wetness here, I won't be able to shake anything dry on there. I'm just going to have to use my glitter glue. So I'll go ahead and put a nice thick shape of the outline here in glitter glue. And you can go twice if you want. It doesn't look like it's going to be putting out a whole lot of glitter each time, so I'll just go over twice to thicken it. This stuff takes a while to dry, so just be patient with that. Maybe set it somewhere by a window or where it can get the sun so the warmth can dry it up a little bit. And then if you have a steady enough hand and you can keep your whole hand and arm elevated, then even while this glitter glue is still drying, you could come in with some black puffy paint and write something in the middle like love in there if you wanted to. Or you could use a paint marker and do something like that with the paint marker inside. If you don't know that you're going to be able to do that without leaning in the glitter glue and dragging it all over the place or getting it all over you, then just wait till it dries and come back. That way you can really lay your hand on there and write whatever you're going to write in the middle of this.